Coming up on this stormy edition of ATV News.
A house caught on fire. We'll show you why it was so hard to fight.
I think we do need to be on some sort of a leash because it can get out of hand very quickly.
We'll show you how sports crowds have crossed the line and the effect this has on athletes.
I'm always striving to learn more about other people's perspectives.
We'll show you where women are underrepresented at USU.
Rain now, snow later? In weather, I'll show you why we have a winter storm warning and how those conditions might change over the course of this week.
A USU basketball team won 2 home games this week. I'll show you which game broke a USU record.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
The right lane.
Shut down southbound till we can get that cleared up.
The right lane is closed at US Highway 8991 southbound in Sardine Canyon after multiple cars slid off the road. Welcome to this week's edition of ATV News. I'm Verl Johansson.
And I'm Kanoa Johnson. We are currently experiencing an intense snowstorm draping across northwestern Utah. It went from rain to snow in an instant. Drivers have slid off of the road in Sardine Canyon and on southbound Highway 30. Another crash happened on 1000 North by the Logan Cemetery involving a vehicle and a school bus. Our weather guy, Joe Cooney, went outside to check on the weather. How's it going out there, Joe?
Well, Kai, I'm getting pretty cold and wet out here. But this storm shows no signs of slowing down or stopping, and we've already got about 2 inches of accumulation, if you can see on the ground there. Now, that's not quite enough to fulfill our drought needs. We'll still need, even though the mountains are getting up to 3 feet of snow from this, we'll still need more to get ourselves in a stable position for our drought. Back to you, Kai.
Thanks, Joe.
A home is a complete loss after it caught fire in an area with no fire hydrants. Firefighters arrived at a fire off of Highway 8991 around 8:40 and continued fighting through the night. The Logan City Fire Department says they had to rely on water tenders to bring water because there were no nearby fire hydrants. They say at least 6 fire departments responded to provide water and manpower. The neighbors of the house came home after the roof had collapsed, and firefighters were fighting through the smoke.
We came home exhausted, and now we're like a little panicked.
Logan City Fire says they closed off one lane of the highway, but traffic continued as they fought the flames. They say the occupants were not home when the fire started.
How do you keep people coming to your restaurant in the winter when it's sub-freezing temperatures? The managers of Pollo Azteca and Logan Main Street say they were trying to figure out a way to keep business going through the winter, so they built a small shelter on the side of their trailer for customers to be able to stay warm while they were waiting for their food. They say Logan City told them they had to take it down since they didn't have a permit to build the shelter. They hope without the shelter they can still keep business up.
We have to tear it down and just hope that people keep coming even though it's cold.
Lopez says they thought it was fine since they didn't dig into the ground or attach it to anything. She says that they have to take the shelter down by Saturday.
You may have been to a game where the crowd got a little too heated and tried to throw the other team off with a chant or two. Claire Scott shows us how the actions of the crowd can remain with athletes even after the game ends.
Heckling. Players are used to the sound, but they aren't immune.
They hear it. There's no question that they hear it.
Riley Jensen would know. He played football at USU.
We were at Colorado. There was a group of people that were all in yellow shirts. I assumed that they were Colorado students. They were all like shouting obscenities and like flipping me off.
To some, student sections are the best part of the game.
Everyone was loud and fun and just energized. I would grow up looking forward to that as part of the game.
But sometimes they go too far, chanting Russia to a Ukrainian player, a BYU fan accused of yelling racial slurs at a black volleyball player, a Jazz fan banned for life for harassing an athlete. These incidents are recent, but the crowd turning on an athlete is not.
I think that the new generation likes to say that it's different and that it's more. I don't think it is.
Athletes are taught to overcome a crowd like this through mental coaching.
One of the main tools that we use for athletes when it comes to these sort of things is just a reframing tool that helps them to be able to reframe the situation to their advantage.
Jensen says when an athlete is heckled by a supporter of the opposing team, it's almost a compliment because it means you're good and they're trying to get under your skin. That sucked. The real problem is when an athlete is booed by their own fans.
It's hard to reframe when your own fans are, disparaging you.
I think we do need to be on some sort of a leash because it can get out of hand very quickly.
So where is the line? Smith says it's when it gets personal, like when Colorado State students were yelling Russia at USU player Max Shulga.
That's something that's not related to basketball, and it's not related to him as a player.
USU's public safety says it's difficult to know when to step in.
We kind of adopted this policy of we're the last resort. We don't want to be censoring speech or anything like that.
Christensen says there are policies in place to deal with crowds, but action is rarely needed.
It really just boils down to don't make it personal. The second that it becomes personal, then it's probably too much.
Claire Scott, ATV News.
Jensen says it's normal for emotions to run high at games, and though athletes are resilient, they are also human who deserve our respect.
More women are enrolling in college than men, but some fields of study are still male-dominated. Anna Johnson shows you one of these fields and what one group is doing about it.
Excited chatter filled the room as students learned about women in science, technology, engineering, and math at Women in STEM Night, hosted by USU's Science Council.
I think there's not a lot of these kind of events, and so I think it was important for them and me, to kind of show that we have those, some awesome women on campus.
Kale says the Science Council wanted to highlight diverse perspectives in STEM.
I definitely think we have different perspectives, and I think the way that we work through our degrees is probably going to be different than men.
With more perspective, you get more elaborate and more complicated solutions, more things that'll help more people.
In fall 2020, 55.5% of students enrolled at USU were female. Over the past 10 years, women have made up the majority of all students. Even though the majority of students are women, according to USU in the fall of 2020, they made up 34% of students enrolled in the College of Science, about 1/3.
Women in STEM experience unique challenges that other groups don't. And so we wanted to bring awareness to women in STEM and some of the challenges they experience, and also hear are some things that we could do better as a university.
Jackson Winder says he has seen a pattern of casual sexism at USU.
It is just a problem with the world's culture, especially with women in professional positions. And unfortunately here at Utah State, we are not immune from that. But if someone is actually interested in learning more about that, they just need to talk to some women in STEM.
Kale says breaking down barriers for women in STEM starts with individuals.
Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something.
Anna Johnson, ATV News.
Winder says the first step in being an ally for women in STEM is listening to their experiences.
Utah State's Presidential Search Committee opened the USU president position to applications and nominations. I went to special collections to learn about some previous USU presidents and some things to avoid in candidates. John A. Widstow led Utah State in the early 1900s. During his time in charge, a group of students greased the trolley tracks on 500 North, stopping the train from taking people to the university. Widstow reportedly said there will be no more clubs in response, but USU archivists say they aren't sure.
There's not really a record of President Widstow saying that. Of course, he could have said it at the time to them.
As a result, the Be No Club was formed. This group of pranksters later built the Block A, first making a wooden model before the concrete statue just outside of Old Main. Even earlier in USU history, John H. Paul, the second president at the then Utah Agriculture College, fought with the saloon owner over students visiting the bar.
The letters are a little tense. I think you could interpret one letter as a veiled threat. What actually happened after that, the letters stopped.
Rovegno says there is no record of anything happening after the letters were exchanged. Now, originally when I heard about President Paul's interaction with the saloon owner, I thought it was actually a physical interaction, altercation between the two, but it ended up just being an exchange of letters. We don't really know anything much else.
I don't know. Personally, I think seeing a president throw hands, that would be a sight to see.
Yeah, great.
All right, coming up.
Oh, I would definitely come back. I think it would be fun to bring a date here and just all rage together.
We'll show you a new Cache Valley business that hopes to relieve your rage and stress.
The Aggies made the biggest comeback in history. We'll show you how they did it and who it was against.
The current temperature in Logan is 29 degrees.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 can you feel the sun?
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hi, I'm Joe Cooney. Welcome back to ATV Weather. Over the whole country today, we've got a system of storms, especially rain and snow, buffeting the entire nation today. In the East Coast, we've got mostly rain and some snow over up in the Mid-Atlantic up until New York State. Now, going a bit farther westward, we see over Minnesota and the northern Great Plains more snow, more rain, mostly snow in that region. Coming back over Utah, we've got some of that snow, but the main system on the west coast is that rain. Now, as that rain comes over to Utah, we see a lot of that presented as snow and rain. And a lot of that really depends on where you are in Utah and what you're doing. So the inversion layer can play a large role in where you are. When an inversion happens, as Claire Scott told us last week, there's a band of this warm air above some of that colder air. So when that snow comes down and precipitates, that warm air can melt some of it, causing rain, like we saw this morning. Then, as the inversion goes away, because that storm pushes it out of the valley, the snow is free to fall down across the entire region. Now, in our 7-day forecast, we are seeing a major winter storm warning today, up to 8¼ inches over the next 2 days. About 4¼ inches of that is going to come today, some of which we've already seen, and the other 4 inches will probably come on Wednesday, with temperatures in the low 20s to low 30s, dropping rapidly. Now, as we go into the rest of this week and next week, we'll still see a bit of the end of that storm, but nothing like the 8 inches we'll see over the next couple days. Again, temperatures will be going into the low 30s, high 20s, and lows will be in about the teens and low 20s. Let's go back to Kai at the desk, now that you're all caught up with weather.
Thanks, Joe. There are plenty of ways to let off stress, from yoga to painting. Katie Varga joins us live from the Ag Science Building to tell us about a new business that's promoting breaking items as stress relief. How are you doing, Katie?
You know, I am feeling a little stressed, Kai. Maybe smashing this plate will help? I went and smashed many things at a local business who's all about destruction.
The Cash Smash Rage Rooms is a business that wants customers to take a hammer to their inventory.
That was good.
You pick out your items, from bottles to vases and even TVs. then move to a rage room and start demolishing.
Then we have 2 different rage rooms that we offer as well. That's based simply off of how many people you have. We also have a car on the other side where people can come in and smash a car as well.
Hale says once you have your safety gear on, take your weapon of choice, I chose a sledgehammer, and start smashing away.
I would definitely come back. I think it would be fun to like bring a date here and just all rage together.
Customers like Dowdy say they come to the rage rooms because of stress and want to experience a new kind of stress relief.
I got to let out a lot of stress, and I think that was able to help me a lot to just beat things up. It was really fun.
We just want it to be a fun environment. That's really what it comes down to, right? Like, we try to keep it clean and organized and make people just want to have fun. That's really what our whole goal is.
Hale says they opened at the beginning of February, and since then, business has been smashing.
Oh, yeah. Hale says they offer a $5 off student discount on Thursday nights for students who bring in their IDs. Reporting to you live from the Ag Science Building, Katie Varga, ATV News.
Thanks, Katie.
Back to you guys at the desk.
USU Athletics attempted to break a Guinness Book of World Records at the USU versus SUU gymnastics meet.
1, 2, 3, come!
Thousands of people dunked their cookies into a cup of milk and took a bite at the same time with the hope of breaking a world record.
We came to Logan because we're from Idaho Falls, making a weekend out of it.
It's like bigger than even just our community, but like the fact that it's a world record, it's like, this is huge.
The crowd was disappointed when they found out they didn't make history. USU Athletics says ticket scans counted 2,799 people in the building, about 500 below the amount needed. USU Athletics says though they didn't break the record, the night was a success because people came to cheer on the gymnasts. And what a meet that was as well. I mean, just kind of reading through it all, it sounded like a lot of good performances from all of the gymnasts out on the floor.
Yes, USU say they had an attendance of over 3,000 people, so that must have been fun.
You know, I want to know what they did with all those extra cookies. I really need to get my hands on some of those. And coming up.
Back handspring to gain our folds. Stuck landing for Bree.
One of these gymnasts earned her first career weekly conference honor this year. I'll tell you who she is coming up.
We'll show you how you can unwind and focus on natural healing energies.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash, 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Zahir Nasir. Utah State faced the University of Nevada in a home game on Saturday. The Aggies ended the first quarter 15 points behind the Wolfpack with the score of 47-32. But within the second half, the Aggies were doing their best to catch up to the Wolfpacks with shots like this three-pointer by Max Shulga that had the team celebrating. The Aggies then bagged more points with these shots right into the net by graduate student Dan Akin, who scored 6 points his field goal. For this game, the Nevada State player Coleman tried to score 2 points, but here Akin said not a chance, leading the ball to Sean Besto. Sugar got the ball and scored this layup, putting the Aggies in the lead by 1 point and adding it to the total 13 points he scored in the game. Aggies won the game. Look at Ashworth celebrating the biggest win and the biggest comeback in school history. Ashworth scored a total of 20 points in this game and was the Aggie with the most scored points for the night. The final score was 66-75. On Thursday, the Aggies celebrated Valentine's Day on the Spectrum in a game against the Falcons. Students showed up with posters of players' names and pictures with hearts showing their support and love for the players. The Aggies started the game hot in the lead with this pass from Steven Ashworth to senior Trevi Dorius that went in for 2 points for the Aggies. Dorius scored a total of 17 points for the Aggies in the 6 minutes he played. The Falcons did get their own share after B. Booker shot this three-pointer right in the basket, scoring one of his 2 3-pointers for the night. But the Aggies were not shaken, serving basket from every angle like this three-pointer by Max Shulga, the top scorer of the night, with 29 points total. RJ then followed it up with this reverse one-handed shot for double points, putting the Aggies 8 points in the lead, and the crowd celebrates. The Falcons tried to catch up to the Aggies in the second half with this smooth pass from Ethan to Taylor, Carter to Murphy, and into the basket, adding the points to his total 13 points for the night. Continuing the streak, Ethan Taylor gets the ball, and he doesn't stop until it's in the basket, getting the Falcons 2 more points, but still 10 points behind the Aggies. The Aggies stayed in the lead, scoring hot basket like this one-handed shot by Dorius, bringing them to 62 points and then 10 points ahead the Falcons. Then this assist by Shulga to Dan, placing the Aggies 12 points ahead of the Falcons at 68-56. Then also this dunk by Sean Barrister, that the Aggies finished the game with a win and a 15-point lead, bringing the final score to 56-80. It was a special night at the Spectrum on Saturday as USU retired J.C. Carroll's number 20. USU presented Carroll's jersey during halftime of the game. Carroll is the all-time leading scorer in USU's history with 2,522 points. Carroll said that with his success at Utah State and professionally, it's opened the doors for future athletes here in Utah.
I think it started to gain recognition. The Utah State's putting out guys that can play professionally.
Carroll's jersey is the 6th jersey retired in men's basketball here at USU. In gymnastics, Utah State competed against Southern Utah University on Friday. They had a high attendance of 3,299 people who were there to witness USU's attempt at breaking the current Guinness Book of World Record marks for the most cookies simultaneously dunked in milk at a single location. USU says the attendance number is a season high for Aggies and the 16th largest in school history. Let's get into that performance. Here you can see the USU gathering together to get their guard and to start the meet. USU junior Brianna Brooks participated in all 4 categories and placed second in the all-round, hitting a new personal record score of 39.0300. Brooks tied for the third on beam with a 9.900, tied for 5th in vault with a 9.800, placed 11th on the floor, and tied for first in bars with a career high tying 9.003 with this stuck solid landing. The Aggies joined in to celebrate the performance. Senior Ariel Toomley scored 9.925, the highest score on floor, with this landing right here, putting the Aggies 0.025 points above the Thunderbirds in this category. Toomey earned her first career weekly honor this year from Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference, where she ranked 4th. SUU's Haley Voltaire scored 9.925, the highest points in the beam category, with this here routine icing this triple series with a stack landing. and putting the Thunderbirds 0.375 points above the Aggies in this category. Even though the Aggies lost to the Thunderbirds with a final score of 197.125 to 196.175, they came out with a season high of 196.175 points. Utah State softball team played 2 games Friday at St. Mary's tournament. The Aggies lost the first game against St. Mary's 2-0, but won the second game against San Jose State with a score of 2-5. Well, guys, what did you think about those games that we won this weekend? We had 2 home games and we won both of them. What did you guys think about that?
I mean, that men's basketball game was surprising. I saw the score at halftime, and just seeing how hot Nevada was shooting, I knew it was going one of 2 ways. We'd either catch up because Nevada would go cold, or Nevada was going to blow us out of the water because they were having a good shooting night. And I am very glad it was the former.
You know, I was there, and when we brought it back, the hype was just so insanely real. But I think we got a story here that's going to help us all calm down after that hype and bring it back. What exactly can sound therapy do for you? Seraphonic Sounds came to Crystal Hot Springs to show people how it can help them. The sound of the drum drew people over to start the meeting. The group leader talked to people about how vibrations of the drum could help them become more connected to the energy around them and how to heal their inner selves.
Every cell knows intrinsically, instinctively, how to heal itself, how to bring itself back into homeostasis. The thing that gets in the way is the meat laptop, the mind, the ego, the consciousness.
The group also had a chance to experience Reiki, another way to activate healing in the body and reduce stress through touch. LeBarn says that floating in the water while receiving Reiki helps the body relax and better absorb minerals in the water. Seraphonic Sounds meets once a month at Crystal Hot Springs to practice sound therapy and Reiki. Thanks for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can watch this and other editions on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with a look at the snow coming down on campus.
Have a great week, Cache Valley.
Say with me, imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. To motivate some magic, to change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. One book can make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. but I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.